If you're a security team and you have a service like Expel, you really have to keep them up to date on what you're doing in your environment in terms of these tools like RMM tools and Screen Connect, if it's expected, because it could be the difference between someone got phished, not a huge deal, we took care of it, to someone got phished, they downloaded an RMM tool, there's a threat actor in your environment, they just ransomed you somewhere. So we got an alert in Hive for suspicious internal sender. A good thing about Expel is my intro into cybersecurity was actually in the phishing service. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands. So as soon as I looked at it and I saw the subject line, I was like, this is bad. And I saw they were sending DocuSign, which is something that attackers like to use. It makes it hard for us because once the victim clicks on the link, they can have it set up to where we can't see what was behind it. That kind of covers their tracks. But in this instance, the threat actor had sent another link, and it was actually to LimeWire, if you remember that throwback.
I remember LimeWire. What a throwback.
The LimeWire included a download of a file, something to the effect of like PDF converter, which is a commonly used, obfuscation technique to kind of hide what the actual thing is. And I was sitting here looking at it and I knew it was bad, but I was like, what actually is this? And the funny thing is I had it in my sandbox and I just happened to mouse over it and it showed up as the RMM tool name and they never changed the name. So I was like, oh, this is not just some your normal malware. This is a threat actor attempting to get a foothold in the environment. Right after that happened, whenever I kind of came to that conclusion, I was able to look at the user's history through their O365 logs because the concern originally was, is this actually coming from inside the house or is someone pretending to be coming from the outside? And there's a tactic called spoofing where they can kind of make it seem very believably that it is coming from a trusted sender. But since I was able to look at their activity, I saw the send. I saw them sending it. It was coming from an Amazon IP actually, which can be hard to detect because Amazon IPs are everywhere, but we knew
Mm.
that this wasn't right. So as soon as we saw that, we jumped into action and got it contained.
LimeWire, dude, that's so funny. I feel like the last time I downloaded anything from LimeWire, it was maybe like a Nickelback song or something back in 2002. Can you explain how attackers used a legitimate RMM tool and maybe why is that harder to detect than something like a rat?
So the thing that makes it harder, a lot of threat actors have been using like Screen Connect or other remote access tools that just kind of like TeamViewer just gives you straight up control of someone's environment, straight up control of someone's computer. We obviously know that they've been using these for a long time. So we've become privy to it. So they've started to switch it up. And the thing about RMM tools and what makes them tricky is that customers are more likely to use an RMM tool than they are a Screen Connect or another remote access tool like that.
Mm, hmm.
So what makes it hard for us is sometimes we don't always know what the customers are using. And of course, we can go and look for prevalence if we see this binary in their environment. But sometimes, if the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, it can cause some slowness here. Because we don't have that information of knowing exactly what they're deploying, what they're using all the time, that makes that a little bit harder to detect and hurts the reaction time on our end.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. What's one thing you want security teams to know about defending against threats that come from inside the house?
Well, I think it's probably the scariest thing because, you are taking a trusted individual and abusing that trust to move laterally. So, um, Joe from accounting could go and message their boss, and maybe they eventually get their boss compromised. And then their boss starts sending out emails. I've seen it happen before. I've seen bosses sending out emails to everyone. And what do you do when your boss tells you to do something? You typically do it and you don't really question it. So that's it's such a major thing to stop and get ahead of while it happens. And it can be really hard to detect if you're not on top of it. The other part circles back to earlier about, the left hand and the right hand. If you're a security team and you have a service like Expel, you really have to keep them up to date on what you're doing in your environment in terms of these tools like RMM tools and Screen Connect, if it's expected, because it could be the difference between someone got phished, not a huge deal, we took care of it, to someone got phished, they downloaded an RMM tool, there's a threat actor in your environment, they just ransomed you somewhere.
Yeah,
Ransomed your DC, ransomed your data servers, and that is the worst scenario, and that's what they're trying to do.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
just being very transparent with your security teams to make sure that they know what's going on so they can react fast.